Every day, headlines warn you about the Great Reset, de-dollarization, and the collapse of the system. But behind all the dramatic language is one simple, uncomfortable truth. Any real reset, global or national, shows up first in your rent, your grocery bill, your fuel, your loans, and the shrinking power of every paycheck you bring home. The danger is not that something is changing. The danger is that most people treat it like a conspiracy debate for experts, instead of a scoreboard that explains why their life is getting quietly more expensive and more fragile month after month. So in this video, we are not chasing fear, we are not debating politicians, and we are not speaking to the top 1%. We are going to decode what a financial reset actually means in practice, and then walk through 3 specific, simple moves that a normal person can make, starting today, to stop being a passive victim of the system and start becoming structurally harder to break no matter what happens next. When experts talk about a global financial reset, they are primarily addressing 2 massive threats: the inflation trap and the rise of central bank digital currencies, both of which have profound, immediate consequences for your household budget. The inflation trap is simply what happens when governments or central banks must devalue their currency to manage staggering national debts, essentially printing more money into circulation. This isn't abstract policy. This is the reason your weekly grocery bill has climbed by 20% this year, because the currency you hold has lost its purchasing power, meaning your savings, even if the number in the bank remains the same, are buying significantly less. We must recognize that the most common person's wealth is held in the most vulnerable form: cash and cash equivalents, which are directly penalized by this ongoing, silent tax of inflation. The second major threat involves the move towards CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies, which represent a fundamental shift away from physical cash toward a digitally managed and potentially controlled form of money. Imagine that your bank balance is not just a number, but a programmable token over which the central authority has ultimate oversight, theoretically allowing them to impose rules like expiry dates to force spending, or even restrict purchases of certain items, representing a dramatic and unprecedented loss of personal financial autonomy. While cash offers anonymity and freedom, a fully digital system opens the door to financial surveillance and potential control mechanisms that the average person relies upon to maintain their independence. Understanding this shift is crucial because it changes how we view and utilize our banking relationship. Instead of obsessing over the global levers you cannot pull, the most powerful and immediate action you can take is initiating your personal financial reset, transforming your financial state from vulnerable to fortified. The first concrete strategy is building a cash flow fortress by recognizing that simply holding all your savings in a low-interest checking account is the same as leaving them exposed to inflation's constant erosion. A fortress means having a cushion of 6 to 12 months of living expenses, but intelligently placed in assets that retain value, like high-yield savings accounts, short-term treasury bills, or cash-equivalent assets that offer some protection against currency devaluation while remaining liquid enough for an emergency. The second crucial strategy is ruthlessly eliminating bad debt, particularly the high-interest revolving credit card debt and unsecured personal loans that become cripplingly expensive during periods of inflation and rising interest rates. In an inflationary environment, your debt payments get harder because your dollar buys less, meaning you are effectively working harder just to pay interest. View this debt repayment not as an obligation, but as an investment in your financial freedom, as every dollar paid off provides an immediate, guaranteed return equal to the interest rate you were being charged. This process of clearing bad debt creates the essential margin you need to execute the final, most important strategy. The third and most powerful strategy involves acquiring productive assets, shifting your focus away from holding volatile currency and toward owning things that either hold intrinsic value or generate income. This means recognizing that wealth preservation during a reset often depends on owning things that cannot be digitally erased or infinitely printed, like physical commodities such as gold and silver, which have historically served as reliable hedges against a failing currency. Furthermore, a productive asset can be something that actively makes you money, like shares in stable, dividend-paying companies, where you own a piece of a real business. or even investing in yourself by acquiring a high-value skill or launching a side hustle that generates diversified income streams outside of your primary employment. The core takeaway is that in the face of macroeconomic uncertainty, your personal defense strategy should focus entirely on resilience and control, minimizing your exposure to the risks inherent in the current system. We have seen that the common person is most vulnerable through high debt and inflation-eroded savings, making the path forward clear and actionable. To summarize your personal financial reset checklist. First, construct that cash flow fortress using intelligent low-risk instruments. Second, aggressively eliminate bad debt to free up your monthly cash flow. And third, diligently shift your savings from vulnerable currency into productive assets that will either preserve your wealth or actively grow your income. The future of global finance is certainly uncertain, fraught with risk and speculation. But your individual financial future does not have to be. The best hedge, the ultimate defense against any financial reset, is the immediate, conscious, and decisive act of fortifying your own financial house. Thank you for watching. If you found these strategies helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more in-depth analyses on how to navigate today's complex economy. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 3 steps are you going to implement first?